Hi, I'm Isel. It's August 1, 2020, syempre, no? 2020. On a Saturday night, around 10:40, it's the second time that I'm doing the record. And if you would look at the video, yung kanina, kinat ko lang yun, but somebody actually knocked on dun sa pinto. And it was my mom who asked me to do some errands. Nagpakuha ng damit. Syempre, last gist, ano? Nilamig ang nanay ko. Hi, Nay. Nilamig siya. Kumuha ng pajama. So there, it was just like thoughts lang yon yung I shared a while ago or on my first recording the same day. These are just random thoughts that comes in my mind during my devotion time. But what I really would like to share, sige, umpisa ko na dun so that I might not be lost, no? Is double numbers. Yeah, madaling tandaan na verses. It's ngayon ko lang na-realize well I'm actually talking right now na thinking aloud double numbers yon. So pag if it's double number, if something is being repeated, it's very important. So yung verses are, I'm gonna be sharing yung verses that hindi naman I've actually stumbled upon. No? Hindi ko sinasadya. I've stumbled upon it. I've realized more than just a coincidence. I think this is actually giving us a message na sobrang meaningful. Sobrang gustong i-emphasize ng Lord. That's why it's actually put into verses na double yung number. So, mas madaling tandaan at mas yung impact sa atin would be doubled. So, yung first is yung when Jesus was tempted ng 40 days when he was on the alam ko nasan siya, yung desert pa yun. Basta nandun siya sa isang isolated place. And he actually fasted for 40 days. So, he was hungry and the tempter actually tempted him 3 times. Pero doon ako mag-highlight sa isa sa mga temptation niya, yung sinabi sa kanya na, since nagugutom ka na, why don't you, with your own power, turn this stones into bread. And eto yung verse, Matthew 4 verse 4. Matthew chapter 4 verse 4. So double yan. Jesus said, but double check natin na. Hindi kayo nilang mag-check. I want you to read your Bibles. Jesus said, man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Check nyo na lang. I want you to check it so that you can check it for yourself. Do not believe what I say unless it is being checked or you've checked it out on your own, in your own Bibles, diba? In your own personal time. So yun, Jesus was actually saying that there are actually 2 kinds of feeling. Hindi feeling na emotion. Feeling, yung laman ng ating pagkatao that actually helps us to live. Number 1 is food, which is, alam natin yan, gustong-gusto natin yan. Actually, 5 times we eat. Okay? Ako yun. I really enjoy eating. So, 5 times we eat. We actually, really, kahit walang magsabi sa atin, automatically, whatever we're doing, we will stop if we felt na nagugutom tayo. In fact, kahit hindi tayo nagugutom, when we see food, nag-crave tayo, kumakain tayo, and that actually nourishes us, our bodies, no? So that's how we live every day, physically. Without food, for 10 years time, I don't think somebody would last, no? Wala. Kahit gano'n ka-healthy and without food, that person would die in no time without food intake. But Jesus said another important thing. Sabi niya, man does not live on bread alone, but on every word comes from the word of the Lord. So actually, konti lang yung nakaka-grasp of that. So I wanted to pound into it. Kasi we actually, well, I will tell you right now as I, narrate, alam mo yung aha moments, no? Kasi ang dami-daming tao actually are experiencing it. Yet, they don't know na yun. If you will see people who had committed suicide in history, desperate people, wala namang nag-commit ng suicide in high emotions, no? On high spirit na sobrang saya, tapos nag-commit siya ng suicide. All the people that committed suicide generally are yung in right mindset generally are depressed, crying, suffering, whatever that may be, but negative emotion. And it points out na hopeless kasi sila, hopelessness. So if you will look at it, ayun yun eh. Isasabi ng word ng Lord that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the word of the Lord. Kasi the word of the Lord gives what? Hope. And if we actually have hope, that actually gives life. You know why? Ang daming tao, like, example is yung isang soldier na outside his country, fighting for his countrymen sa isang isolated place on a war field. Actually, tinitingnan lang niya yung picture ng family niya that one day I'll come home with my daughter, with my family, and be reunited with them. Nagkakaroon siya ng hope. And that actually brings that man back to that place, sa hometown niya, na yun yung dala-dala niya. Actually, that person have actually lost a lot. Kasi, syempre, isolated place on a war field, so wala siyang meron siya. But just a picture of his family, tapos tinitingnan niya, and yung hope. That hope actually brings him back to the place na I have to fight, I have to be alive, I have to desperately live, and I have to do all the measures that I need to, na kaya kong gawin on my end, just to survive and be alive. And true enough, that person actually nakauwi. Kasi, meron siyang hope. And that hope actually brings life. Yun yung example ng hope brings life. And desperate people, countless desperate people who committed suicide, hindi ko na kailangan isa-isahin. You can actually check it out. All of them were hopeless, desperate. Kapag desperate ka, kahit ang dami mong resources, ang yaman mo, a lot of people actually, na mayayaman pa. It's not to generalize, no? It's a case-to-case basis. But, kung titingnan lang natin, no? These people who committed suicide, some of them are celebrities. Some of them are popular. Some of them are rich. In fact, mas nagko-commit pa nga ng suicide yung mga mayayaman. Kasi yung mga mahirap pala kung na ako nabalitaan, o hindi siguro binabalita kasi trivial yan sa ating media siguro, in a way, no? Yung mga maliliit na tao medyo hindi masyadong nadadaanan, but big names in the world, 'di ba? Yun yung mas binabalita. But if we will look dun sa mga na commit ng suicide, all of them are really popular. Hindi pala all, no? Some of them have everything. In fact, yung mayayaman, 'di ba, na medyo na shake lang yung business nila, na shake lang yung kanilang finances, nawala lang yung certain things that they are enjoying, and then they're desperate. And desperation kills. Do not do it. Okay, wag natin yung i-apply sa sarili natin, no? Let's just look at the experiences of other people. It's, yes, I also adhere into it na experience is the best teacher, kasi talagang iba kapag flesh naramdaman mo siya, but mas maganda is other people's experience would be our best teacher, so that hindi natin maramdaman yung sakit, yung hirap. But iba pa rin syempre yung giveaway nun, yung take nun kapag ikaw yung naka-experience. But if we can actually learn it from other people, then much better, di ba? We can actually grasp it from other people's experience. That would be really hindi naman excuse, a great way for us to really learn a lot more of things on our own experience and other people's experiences. So, dalawa yung pinanggagalingan ng natin, ng learnings natin. So, the second verse. Wow, 9 minutes na, no? Hindi ko sige, I'll just make it very, very short na. 9 minutes, diba? I missed really doing the record. John 10:10. The verse is John 10:10. It says the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So the enemy would actually, if you are, if we are actually surrounded with a lot of resources, but one hope, one flicker of hope ang mawala sa atin, and desperate strikes in and caves in and be isolated tayo, tapos wala na tayong nakita kundi yung flaw na yon, yung fall na yon, yung suffering and yung pain that actually takes life. No, sabi dito, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So, kung kaya naman ng devil, our enemy, diba? Our greatest nemesis is not actually the pandemic, not other people, not your neighbors, not your employee, not your employer, not people who are actually against you. Hindi sila. But yung enemy that are influencing us. And we have to really be very much akin kung ano yung schemes niya, kung ano yung mga actions niya. Kasi if we don't know who our enemies are, ang hirap hanapin, no? Sino ba kalaban ko? So we have to identify the scheme of the enemy. Sino yung enemy, ano yung gusto niya sa atin, ano yung pinaka-plano niya, so that we wouldn't actually hear his words. When he speaks lies. So, and ang pinaka-endpoint lang naman talaga ng enemy of all the schemes that he is doing is to kill you, to destroy you, and to steal. Steal what? Steal everything that the Lord created. Kasi the enemy did not create things, diba? Iisa lang yung creator. And the enemy just, ano yun, tawag ito? Make it, ano yung ninanakaw niya? Steal nga, you know? The enemy is really just deceiving us na siya yun. Na siya yung na-create ng mga itong mga bagay na ito. Deceiving us with a lot of things. So, and ang end point is that the bottom line is that if we have all the resources, you know what, ang pinaka-sensitive lang naman is that if we lose hope, kasi if we have everything and we lose hope, in no time you will kill yourself. In depression, in your suffering, you will kill yourself. I personally actually have experienced that, na hopeless ako and all, but I've got a lot of things in my bag, you know. I have a family, I have a job, I have looks. Everybody actually have a looks, no. I have everything going on my way, but you know, if yun lang, minsan lang talaga, you know, you cannot keep thoughts to come in, negative thoughts to come in, but it's not a sin, no, to have these thoughts in our minds, kasi hindi lang naman ang sarili natin ang pinanggagalingan ng ating thoughts. It's the enemy, the Lord, and ourselves. But if you know, if it's a negative thought that's coming in, then get to realize, teka lang, hindi ito coming from me. And more so, it's not coming from the Lord, because all the messages of the Lord in the Bible brings hope. So it's the devil yun. So yun, actually shrug it off in praying, and then ma-realize mo that it's not coming from God and from yourself, and it's coming from the enemy. You wouldn't listen. In fact, diba, hindi tayo nakikinig sa sinasabi ng kaaway natin. Sometimes when we have enemy, tas sinasabi ng kaaway natin, huwag natin pansinin yan, kaaway natin yan. And I hope in our spiritual battle, which is always happening every day, hey, you know, we have actually a physical battle when we have spiritual battle every day, and we have to be very sensitive dun sa spiritual battle, because nandun yung core ng fight natin. And in our spiritual battle, if we know whose voice is speaking, then it's easy for us to really check, makikinig ba ako rito or hindi. And then yun, yung hope na yun, even though we are lost of everything and we have a flicker of hope that would actually make things happen. Like, one example is our dear senator, diba, si Manny Pacquiao. He was, he has nothing before, diba? yung kwento niya is, nagugutom siya, tapos naramdaman niya kung paano yung talagang maging mahirap. That's why he has a heart to those who are poor. Kasi he actually experienced that big time, kung paano maging mahirap. He doesn't have anything at all at that time. But he strived, and what he has at that time is that a hope that he can actually, if he can make it to the top, then everything would be fine. And true enough, that flicker of hope that he has makes his way up to the top, diba? And there are a lot more of people na ganun yung experience. And my prayer that when I actually, divulge this to you is that ikaw yung magkukwento sa akin about how you actually turn this hopelessness into this desperate situation that you are having right now. Lalo na ngayon, pandemic, no? Into a flicker of hope. Flicker of hope. How would you actually have it? Yun nga, dun sa word ng Lord, man does not live on bread alone. We always have it, and automatically, ginagawa natin. That's why the Lord actually didn't command us to eat. Wala dito kinamand ng Lord na you have to eat every day, you have to eat 5 days, because it's automatic. It's our default. So, yung mga hindi automatic, like reading the word, eating the word, devouring the word, and living it up, ayun yung sinasabi ng Lord sa atin at inuulit-ulit, because hindi natin siya default. And I pray that as you actually defaulted yourself into reading the word, it will give you hope, and then you will climb the way up to the top, and then tell me your story. Sorry, 16 minutes. Sensya na, it's really something na sobrang dahil ko nasabi. Ay, nay. 11 na, so just gonna do some exercise and then sleep. Wala pa akong update ko sa exercise kasi wala lang. So, ibang video na lang yun. Bye-bye.